Hi, my name's Tony and I'm from the SUP company, and I'm pleased to say I'm joined by Nick Baker from Fanatic and Duotone and also Ion UK. We're here simply to tell you more about one of the most exciting updates to the Skywing range. And in fact, I say update, it's not simply an update, is it, Nick? It is a complete overhaul of the Skywing range. We've got new sizes, we've got new constructions, there's been a number of refinements, there's been a new shapes put in across the range. Can you just help us understand and have a better overview in terms of the range as a whole? The constructions, we've got 2 new constructions in 2022.
Yep.
Can you tell us the differences?
Simple differences. Obviously, we got what we call our standard construction. Bamboo decks, of course. It's about 300 grams, give or take, lighter than the 2021 construction. A little bit stronger, a little bit lighter. It's always, a benefit for everybody. We've then got my little baby, which is, I'm holding it here, is our new pre-preg carbon team edition, which is another 300 grams lighter.
So on this, the VEC construction.
So we're looking at over half a kilo lighter than 2021 boards, which are already a pretty good weight, So they've made some big steps, big advancements in the constructions, which obviously helps with the performance, not just getting going, but also once you're up on the foil and you're cruising around, that sort of swing weight is something we're all trying to remove, if you like, as soon as you're on the foil.
And it seems cliched, but every year, every brand that we kind of work with, it's always lighter, stronger, and everything else every year in the brochure. These boards really are, aren't they? Yeah. They are, and we've seen it, as you've touched on already, just how much lighter this is on the 2021. But that board, that I know, you haven't let go of it yet.
Go of that. No, that's
but
mine.
Just aesthetically as well, it's stunning. There's some really nice features that they pulled out to kind of highlight the carbon construction of the TE, which will come through, and we'll cover in a bit more detail as we go through the range. The other refinements in terms of the shape, overall the shape's changed quite a lot from 2021 into 2022.
It has. We've got 9 sizes of our standard, what we call a standard epoxy construction. We've got 6 sizes, I believe it is.
5, I think, in the TE.
5 is it? There we go.
5 in the
See,
TE.
you've been reading the brochure. 5 of the TE construction. Obviously quite a lot of boards in the range. As we know, the whole wing phenomenon is literally gone through the roof. So trying to cater for everybody, if you like, without getting too carried away. We try and keep things, with Fanatic always have been, in all of our ranges, as simple as we can, but have something for everybody.
Yeah.
In the shape side of things, the 2 small sizes, the 4.6 and the 4.7, chrome foil boards, as well as real high performance wing boards. The 4.8 up to the 6.3, as we see over there, that's our main ranges, if you like. The big differences are, the main things we try to improve on is basically making things, one, stable, easy to climb onto, and easy to get going. So get planing. Once you're onto the board, once you're stood up there, you've got the wing in your air, trying to get going. It's that slickness, efficientness, get the board going, up out the water, up on the board. Obviously the next thing is, actually not just when you learn all the time, but when it breaks free and you touch down, either breaking the front foil breaks off or whatever you're doing, the board will touch down, touch the water, whether it's a stop or just touch it and carry on going. Trying to make that as less evasive, if you like, where when you're touching down, it just carries on going, lifts again, and you sort of carry on going.
That recovery is so important, the ability to be able to do that. And the boards are certainly, and the learning, what we found with a lot of people learning is that having that ease to recover makes such a big difference. You then progress at.
Well, it stops you falling in.
Yeah.
Every time you touch and go over the handlebars, you've got to swim around, get the board back, and go, climb onto your knees again, use a lot of energy ultimately.
Yeah.
So all the while you're swimming around, trying to climb back on, go pump that forward, get it back up. It's time off the water in the long run, because you're more tired, you've got to come in. So you don't learn as fast, of course. So that's it. The way they have done that is, if you look on the bottom side, easy way to sort of show it, selling board realistically has been our 4, which is this. It's an amazing all-round board. It really is. You can Learn on it if you are reasonably high performance in some of the wind sports that we're doing, whether it be windsurfing or kiting, let's say. I think the normal entry level guys are better with the bigger sizes, but we have had quite a few people learn on the 5.4. That board then takes you through pretty much your whole winging career, if you like. So even if you do step down to a 5.2, 5'4", whatever it may be, most people will keep hold of their 5.4 on those light wind days. Dusty, you're trying to get out through white water possibly, or 7 metres sort of wing in real light wind days. You know, you've got that bigger platform to get yourself going and up and whizzing around. We took the 5.4 bottom shape, which is basically, compared to the other smaller boards, it's got a hard edge as you look around the board, which is what creates that platform to get yourself moving and planing and up onto the foil. On the old boards we had a much bigger tuck, much bigger bevels. So this hard edge was much further in. We had a big kick tail, so obviously the back was tucked in as well, which basically means the planing surface was much smaller. So it was 5 foot, let's say, well this is a 5.2, but equivalent 5 foot, had a smaller planing surface. Okay, same volume the 5 foot has, so as 75 litres.
Yeah.
But the planing surface was smaller, so it was trickier to get going. And then when you touch down, it would grip a little bit, as opposed to what the 5.4 did. It's really efficient. So they sort of went slightly back to the 5.4 rocker line, slightly straighter, a wider sort of row line, much less tuck in the back part of it. Still got a nice bit of beveled edge in the front part for when you're catching at any point. No kick tail in the back as well. So the early planing, the efficiency of getting going and up onto your foil is incredible.
And I found with this, my new 5.4, is the stability's improved. A lot.
Well, what they've done is as well, which is quite amazing, if you laid the old boards onto the new one, the noses and tails are narrower. So if you look from the top downwards, the outside beveled edge is wider, which has allowed us to make the actual platform, the outline, slightly smaller. So you've got a more efficient board to get going, but once you're up on the foil, you want as small a board as you possibly can. Yeah. So now with a slightly narrower nose, slightly narrower tail, it's actually, once you're on the foil, you've got a more manoeuvrable, more responsive product.
It's just helping reduce that swing weight in those forward sections quite a bit.
Then you add or takeaway should I say, the weight as well, which also adds to that. So yeah, really some big advancements. Foot strap positions is the next thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, foot straps have changed as well, which is just given me particularly, I've found I've got much more choice, much more flexibility in terms of how I want to set the board up for me, rather than it being dictated by really the positions that are set by the manufacturer.
Absolutely. As you see, these are set up what I call sort of windsurf stance, if you like. So, you know, you jibe and tack the board and you swap from side to side. Quite a lot of people, certainly in the wave riding or downwinding, they have one front foot strap. So basically it goes right across the board and they stay and they go ride switch stance, don't change feet.
Yeah.
So all the boards you can do that. Obviously you can ride them all without foot straps as well. The rear foot straps now have double screws, because when you are switch stance, you put quite a lot of load on the rear foot strap.
Yeah.
So they've actually strengthened it up and given us a bit more of a sure thing, if you like. So just to keep that longevity.
Oh, great stuff. Well, look, let's pop these down and we're going to run through each of the 4 models that we've got here. The reason why we've pulled these 4 models is simply, well, these are kind of the core models within what is a much, much bigger lineup. And let's run through these in more detail right now. So let's kick off with the largest board in the new Skywing range, and Nick, that's the 6.3 that's here next to us. There's been some big changes in terms of volume in the larger sizes, so much so that really the volume that's now 140 litres in this, the 6.3, well, that was probably only 12, 18 months ago, the volume that was in the 7 foot foil board from Fanatic. And it's staggering to see it down in a shape now that's much more compact and refined. Can you talk us through really why those changes have been made, and particularly the 5.8 as well, as to why those changes have been made there?
Yeah, I mean, the top 3 size-wise, so the 5.6, 5.8 and now the 6.3, there are sort of our entry level, obviously 6.3 is our entry level beginner board if you like, and then but there's other sort of 2 sizes, a 5.8 which is now the 5.6 is now 105 litres. Yeah. The 5.8 is 125. The 6.3 is 140 litres, as you said. The idea behind it is to make, like we were saying before, as small a platform as you can once you're on the foil. Yeah. Have enough volume and enough area to get you up on the foil, and obviously when you're climbing on the board, getting your knees, getting your feet placement, wing above your head, getting yourself going, is one thing, doing it in flat water in choppy conditions obviously makes it more difficult again. So yeah, just trying to get that platform for the entry level for learning, for getting going. But once you're going, you don't want it all. You want as realistically as small a product as you can. So, you know, when I learned, it was 7-foot boards at 140 litres, and I think I actually learned on a 610, which was 125, which was like quite small at the time. Whereas now, you know, everyone's learning on a sort of 125 litre board if you're already in the water sports market, if you like.
So to do that on a 5'8" board, and there's a 15 litre, I think, increase from 110 in the outgoing 5'8" to the new 5'8", 125. Yeah, that really covers a really broad range of people that are looking to get into the sport, as well as those, you know, wingsurfers that are slightly on the larger side of life, you know, that want a platform that's got the volume that really they require, particularly on light wind days, that they can go out, pump onto. But also if the wind goes completely, that they can still get back to shore.
Absolutely, and as we sort of touched on it a little bit before, when you're learning any sport, of course, you're falling in, you know, which means you're climbing on your board on your knees. You know, you've got to find the position on your knees, get the wing up out the water, climb to your feet, get yourself going, get up, fall off. You know, and there's obviously a fair amount of that in the early stages. We're still doing it, of course, as you've gotten good, but certainly early stages, you know, that's a lot. The more you do that, the more tired you get, you know, the more energy it uses up, and you start getting tired, which means your learning capacity goes down, the time in the water goes down. So, you know, one of the jobs for us is to try and produce these products that takes a little bit of that away, you know, so you spend less time swimming around, more time up on the board, on the wing, on the foil, and trying to learn the sport and enjoying it and having more fun, more time in the water.
Well, for us, I mean, I find that we end up talking people a lot up in size, you know, to a board that really they're going to learn on, progress on, and not necessarily have to get rid of straight away, and that find that they outgrow. And it's really, really good to see that, you know, the 5'8" and the 5'6" particularly, they've got a much higher volume, which means we can confidently help customers find boards that they're going to work with, but in a form factor overall that's compact enough that really gives them lots of room for progression as well.
Absolutely. You look at most sports, you go back to windsurfing, it's obviously been around for many years. A lot of windsurfers have come into winging, of course, and those guys go, oh, well, I'm going to go for a really small board because I don't want to buy a big board, then I've got to sell it. And I said, okay, well, you've windsurfed all your life, let's say, for 20, 30 years. If you know now obviously how to windsurf, you're riding these tiny little wave boards, let's say, would you tell your friend who's never windsurfed before to go and buy a high performance windsurfing board to learn on? Of course not. I go, no, you would tell them to buy an entry level board, you know, to learn on with a dagger board, bigger platform, make things easier, because you know otherwise they may learn on that board, but it will take them 3 or 4 years as opposed to 6 months. So this is not too dissimilar. Also, the way I say to guys, you buy an entry-level size, if you like, you will keep that for a while. You'll extend yourself to the next size down for when it's windy and more performance. While it's light wind, you'll still use the bigger one. Eventually, you might get rid of the bigger one and you'll leapfrog again. You'll keep this size. You know, so most people have one boardish they want, but as time goes on, when they get really into the sport, they will probably have two.
And if and when people do progress, it's really down to these smaller sizes, and in particular 5'4", where a lot of people are going to progress towards, and particularly with the 2021 series and before, the 5'4" is always that standout model. And at 95 litres, the litrage is unchanged, but the shape, as we've run through as an overview already, is very much more refined and in some respects very different in some areas of the board. Still a fan favourite of yours, the 5'4"?
Absolutely. I think it will still be, you know, you've got your entry level, if you like, boards, you know, on those two, three bigger sizes. If you're a big guy, you know, 90, 100 odd kilos, your light wind board and your next go-to will be sort of the 5'6" at 105, you know, and then you'll step down maybe to a 95, but your sort of 80, 75 to 90 kilo guys, that will be your board you will go to once you can do it. And you'll have that, you could keep that effectively forever, as you know, once you progress and get to maybe the next level 5'2", 5 foot type boards for windy conditions, you will continue with a 5'4" in light winds. I ride the 4'8", I ride the sinkers and all that. I still have a 5'4" in my quiver, because I know I like to go out when there's swirl and waves and things. Often on the inside it's really gusty and light wind. It's too light to go windsurfing, maybe too light belly for a kite, but once you're out and on the foil, you're flying around, but you've got to get out there. So I can hang on the tip, you know, rest on the wing tip, and I'm resting on my 5'4", just get, as soon as you're up, you're going. The beauty of the new one, obviously with a slightly pulled in nose and tail, once you're going, it doesn't actually feel like the 5 foot did before. Not that that felt massive, but the new boards just feel, once you're up and going, just that little bit smaller. It feels like I'm on the next size down once I'm flying.
And in terms of next size down, and I know this is a board that, having seen you at a few shows, having seen you on the water a few times now as well, this is the board that I always see you on.
Absolutely.
Team edition, new construction, much lighter, more rigid as a product as well, and this new 5.2 size
is really the amazing thing is, and until I get more time on it, obviously into the winter when we get those wavy conditions, my 5.4 was my go-to in that light wind, big wing stuff, waves. I need to get through the shore break. Possibly I would go to 5. It's safe. You know, I could always rely on it. The 5.2 now in the new, obviously the new carbon construction, is so light. I mean, it's at least half a kilo, if not more, lighter than my old 2021 Skywing board.
But half a kilo doesn't sound like a lot, but when it's a board that's this small, this light overall anyway, that's a big percentage difference.
You add that to our existing new 3.0 aluminium foil, that's 20% lighter than the old ones. Already carrying it on the beach, you're like, my God. You know, then you'll add a new product that we got coming obviously in a few months' time, which will be 20% lighter than that again.
Wow.
You know, all of a sudden it really matters, getting planing, pumping, staying afloat, you know, on flight up on the foil, it makes a big difference. So in some ways that's sort of allowing us to, one of the reasons why they put that size in, that's allowing us to nearly go down a size in board.
Yeah.
Because of the way the bottom lines are now, the board is more efficient getting going, lighter. So you add those together and you can sort of nearly jump down a size once you get to a certain level, I would say. So
and when we jump down, 5.0, I'm not there weight-wise, volume-wise. You know, it is a big board, a big wind day board for me, but 5.0, can you run us through that?
That's actually my go-to size board.
Yeah.
I haven't got one in a team edition yet, so that's sort of my favourite. But ultimately, that's what I go to. I'm sort of 83, 84 kilos. I can use that from any small wing all the way up to 5 metre, 5.5, no problem. It gets me. And now, again, with the new, where the edges are further out, we've got a better platform. The way it gets going, it's more efficient. So that'll be even more of a go-to board for someone of my weight, once you can do it, of course. We have a 4.8, which is also quite interesting, which I have from last year, and I use it on the really good days.
Yeah.
The problem is with it, it sort of sinks to get going, so it has to be a bit deeper water. I generally run an 820 or the 900 mast if it swells or waves, so it will sink and you're going to hit the bottom, so you have to go out to slightly deeper water, which is sort of why I think I picked the 5.0 more so than I did the 4.8. The new 4.8, which the old one was 55, the new one is actually 60 litres. Obviously with the new refined outline and shape, so it's actually more efficient to get yourself going.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting to see once I get one, how often and how much I actually jump to the 4.8, more so than I used to.
Well, Nick, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for walking us through what is such an exciting range and huge advancements again for Fanatic, which is great to see them not only innovating in this space, geez, only 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, no more.
You think what it is, I mean,
it's nuts.
You know the other sports are within our company and in our water sports world, if you like, from windsurfing being around for a while, kiting that's now seems like it's been around for a while, but it's a relatively new sport. Obviously paddleboarding, they've all grown radically. Nothing like this wing market, if you like, that we're fortunate that Sky Solbach obviously develops all our boards for us and has been a massive role obviously in our wings, and him and Ken Winner, who develop all the wings. The ideas, effectively 5 or 6 years ago, when they sort of came on board with themselves doing it for fun, and now has brought it to the market and given us and other brands as well and our whole water sports industry, if you like, such an amazing revelation, if you ask me. I mean, it really is. It's
well, it's really exciting for us is that this isn't just progress for progress sake. This is genuine progress and improvements and refinements that are being made in really such a popular range for us, that's going to come into the hands of users out there and make a difference. It really, really is. Well, look, thanks again for your time. Much appreciated.
All good.
If you've got any other questions about the Skywing range or any of the Fanatic foil boards here that we've got, or the Fanatic foil lineup, or the duotone slicks, well, give us a call at supco.com.